number 2 of the MBCS chase brings us from one region of the Palmetto State to another as we arrive in northwest South Carolina for this weekend's race in the Greenville-Spartanburg area. Hi, hello, and good afternoon, race fans. It is a gorgeous midday in Greenville, South Carolina, as we're at the Greenville-Spartanburg Speedway for today's coverage of race 28 of the 2025 NR2003 Mission BBQ Cup Series season, the S1ap on Location 500. Welcome, everybody, to today's Intercast on the North American Sim Racing Network. My name is Trey Wright, and after a great race last Saturday on the eastern side of the state, we've gotten our first taste of how things are going to look for the 2025 MBCS chase for the Cup. Darlington proved who the favorites are going to be going into the chase, but we've still got 9 races left to settle out things, and our first drafting track of the chase here this afternoon is a great place to resume the action. Thomas Troxell got the win last week at the Lady in Black by snapping an 89 race winless streak, and taking a look at the changes for the chase standings right here on the bottom right hand side of your screen. We have got our top 2 favorites that have pulled quite a ways away from the other 10 drivers. Matthew Hubert right now with the points lead, a 15-point lead at that over Campbell Marsh. Both of those drivers were the only chasers to finish inside the top 10 at Darlington, while Brandon Wilmington and Bradley Ream were the other 2. They were able to finish inside the top 20. They right now sit 3rd and 5th in the point standings, while Riley Sampson, who is one of the 8 drivers to finish inside the bottom 15 on the grid, sits 4th in the point standings, 168 points back of Matthew Hubert coming into the action here this afternoon. Everybody down below these guys had some issues. Esteban Lacer had mechanical issues all throughout the evening. Braden Perez, Caleb Rose, and Carson Miller got shuffled out during pit strategy. And Angel Gutierrez also had a mechanical failure. He finished 41st in that race, and he sits 225 points back of Matthew Hubert. Only 6 drivers are within a full race's worth of points of Hubert coming into Greenville-Spartanburg. But of course, we have 9 more races to decide things. Matthew Hubert is not going to win this championship after only 1 race. Of course, everybody on the bottom end of the chase standings just looking to get a decent run here today at Greenville-Spartanburg. The bad news for them, Greenville-Spartanburg races similarly to that of the Daytona International Speedway, given the high degree of banking and the narrow track width. Double wide racing is typically what we see here at GSS, but going 3 wide is really pushing your luck. Forget about going 4 wide. You've got a death wish if you want to go 4 wide here at Greenville-Spartanburg. It's another cycle race today like we've seen several times this season, which means patience is the key to success. Waiting to make the right move at the right time is going to be the difference between having a top 20 finish and a bottom 22 finish. For the chase drivers, just getting a solid top 20 finish is the goal at a track like this to try to keep your chase hopes alive going into the Kansas Speedway next week. But the grandstands are packed with race fans after a blistering first week of school for the majority of the kids in the audience, and it's time to turn them loose here for race 2 of the chase. Let's go down trackside and get the most famous words in motorsport to kick off the start of the S1ap on Location 500.
Drivers, start your engines!
And the engines roar to life here at Greenville-Spartanburg. 42 cars ready to do battle for another 500-mile race in the Palmetto State. Brennan Wilmington sits on the pole position in the number 62 machine. He gets 5 bonus points for one of the 12 chase drivers on the grid. Keegan Thompson, your Rockingham winner, will round out the first row here at Greenville-Spartanburg. There's a look at Matt Wolf and Igor Barreto back in row number 2. Row 3, Bruno Diacomo looking for his first career win in the Mission BBQ Cup Series. He rounds out the top 6 while rounding out the top 5. The Coca-Cola winner of John Andrews in car number 7. We'll take a look at the rest of the field. There's the 47 machine of Elijah Gordon, who the owner of that car, Derek Hamill, won here back in 2020. 50 laps on the schedule for today's contest. Stages ending at laps 15 and 30. Pit window opening up after about 30 laps here. On a tank of gas, you take a look at the track itself. 32 degrees of banking, Greenville-Spartanburg, 3 degrees on the straights. 3 previous winners of this race in the grid here this afternoon: Derek Hamill, Riley Sampson, Logan Alexander. And your chase leader right now, Matthew Hubert, all on the grid here today. Chevy Silverado pace truck is down the pit area. Wilmington looking to snap a 109 race winless streak from the pole. It's showtime once again in South Carolina. Andrews and Wilmington door to door right at the start-finish line. I believe Wilmington got that lap led by a couple hairs of a second, and he did. John Andrews will go to the point in the 7 machine. Here comes Daniel Bouchard in that 07, Logan Alexander right behind him as well. Already some aggressive moves being played here on the opening parts of this race. We're going 3 wide for the race lead. Here's Alexander. Won this race back in 2021. He's to the inside. He nearly bumps off the tail end of that 07 machine. Still 3 wide for the top spot, and around to the back, Esteban Lasserre around off the front end of Eric Monaco. Lasserre, who finished the regular season 2nd in the point standings, and it looks like his day will end after only about 2.5 miles. The yellow flag has come out here for the opening time today as the field will race it back. Here's Rogel Dorn to the inside of everybody as they're coming off of turn 4. Monaco was able to drive back, and Dorn will win the race back to the caution flag. Esteban Lasserre, who finished, like we said, one of those drivers that finished in the bottom 15. At Darlington last week, he finished in the 37th spot. Today, he will finish in 42nd, it looks like. Caleb Rose up here, same thing with Braden Perez. It looks like these guys may come down the pit lane here. And it looks like Dorn may stay out. Nope, everybody gonna head down the pit lane here. Oh, a couple of stragglers staying out. Campbell Marsh will, interestingly enough, stay out on the racetrack. I believe he might be the only chase driver that will elect to stay out after our opening caution of the afternoon. We'll see if anybody else. Orange banners will stay out. It looks like Riley Sampson will come in. Angel Gutierrez will come in as well. No, Riley Sampson staying out at the last second. How about that? Not sure how many spots he's going to gain, as it looks like pretty much everybody just taking gas and go. Some damage from somebody, couple of drivers running into one another on this very narrow pit lane. There's Brendan Wilmington coming off. Lost quite a few spots on the start, but he does have 10 bonus points for getting the pole, leading the opening lap of this race by just a couple tenths of a second. And Sampson will gain quite a few spots on the pit lane, was running in 29th at the time, and I believe he will leapfrog to just outside of the top 10. John Andrews electing to stay out. Looks like the top, call it the top 10 cars staying out on the racetrack, the most prolific being the 24 and the 31 machines. But Esteban Lasserre's team trying to get that 64 car fixed on the pit area. I doubt that's going to happen. Let's take a look and see what happened to put us under our first caution flag of the afternoon here in the slap-on location 500. So focusing with Esteban Lasserre, that green and yellow car right in the middle got just barely pinched by Eric Monaco coming off of turn 4 and head on into that inside wall. There's no safer barrier there. It's just a straight concrete wall. And hitting that at just a horrible, horrible angle was Esteban Lasserre. One of the most dominant and consistent drivers in the front end of this season. Has had a couple of really bad races in that 64 car. He lost the regular season championship to Campbell Marsh. It has been his rival all season long. And now he is going to finish in the bottom 35 in the last couple of races here this season. And tough scenes for the driver of that 64 Schweppes RCA machine, and the Gerben Racing team has pulled that 64 car behind the wall to try to do some extra repairs. We'll see if he will in fact retire from the race. We'll get another look at it, and we'll get you back to the action here at Greenville-Spartanburg. And another look at this accident in real time. Just a titanic shot into that inside wall. Nothing that Esteban Lacer could do. He stalled that car, could not drive it back to the pit area all the way around this track. He will likely be the first retiree of this race. Not the best last fortnight of competition for Esteban Lacer, but he's got 8 races to try to dig himself out of that hole. But right now, Rogaldorn led them back to the caution flag, but John Andrews was one of 10 cars that stayed out on the racetrack. See what these guys will do on the restart here as we clean up caution number 1 of the day at Greenville-Spartanburg. And we are back here at Greenville-Spartanburg cleaning up our first caution of the afternoon, and Esteban Lacer's team has officially pulled that car out of the race. He will finish 42nd. 41 cars remaining on track here for the S1ap on location 500. 10 cars stayed out. They make up the top 9 on the grid right here. Pace car, rather the pace truck, will come back down the pit lane. Top 5 going back through the race's restart zone. John Andrews, Keegan Thompson, Zachary Fitzwater, Campbell Marsh, Dano Georgi, Danny Fallington, your top 6. Green flag back out and away here at Greenville-Spartanburg. Couple of drivers, and immediately right on the restart, Logan Williams blowing up. Williams trying to stay high. I believe the caution flag is not going to come out unless Williams stalls here. This is going to be interesting, and Logan Williams, a Saukville, Wisconsin native. I believe he may have skipped a gear right on the restart. We could get our second yellow flag of the afternoon right here and right now if he stalls. And he did, but he immediately teleported back, so we are remaining green here. Tough break for Logan Williams. We'll see what the official cause of death on that automobile was, but right now, Campbell Marsh surging to the race lead. Williams stayed out. He was running in 9th at the time, was one of the 10 cars to stay out, and that really split up this field right here and right now. All 3 Pacific Racing cars on top of one another in the second pack. They're trying to catch up to this opening pack back up in here. Now one more car slow on the pit lane. That is Igor Barreto. He is coming down the pit lane. He has an issue. Right now, 3 cars effectively out of this race on lap number 10. Igor Barreto's competitive day will come to an end. We'll see what the deal is on that 13 machine. But right now, one of the cars that he owns going to the race lead, and he nearly spun himself at the front. An aggressive block from Mile a Minute Marsh. 4 poles on the season for Marsh. He'll get another lap led in the 31. Now this field's starting to get reorganized. There's actually a black flag being shown by Igor Barreto. I believe he may have gone down to the inside of the 17 who blew up right on the restart. So that is going to be an unfortunate set of circumstances for Barreto. Lewis right now in the 90 will take the points, rather the race lead away from Campbell Marsh. Here we go. I tell you, Caleb Rose and Braden Perez are basically attached at the hip, it seems, in this series. These two on top of one another, a couple of June bugs on a summer night. They're nose to tail. They're going to be the top 2 cars on that inside lane. Coming around to 3 laps to go in stage number 1. Dano Georgi with an aggressive block down low of the 32 machine. Georgi trying to keep this race lead here. Won at Oregon, a track a little bit similar to the drafting style we see here at Greenville-Spartanburg. It's not quite a plank track here at GS, but it races a lot like one with the amount of bold moves that we see as Rose, the Colonel, blocking his own teammate of Brad Perez. Perez and Rose will now shift up to the high lane. Their owner just telling them go for the race lead. Here comes Caleb down to the inside. Braden will go with him. These two, little tandem drafting action coming around. 2 laps to go in stage number 1. Who's going to lead the lap this time around? It will be Caleb Rose getting 5 much-needed bonus points for leading a lap. And remember, if a chase driver ends up winning a stage, they not only get the 10 bonus points, they get an additional chase bonus point. I think that's what Perez is looking for right now in this 92, as the rest of the pack will get reorganized. Here comes Skylar Taylor down the inside, coming around to the final lap in stage 1. We know how much Pacific Racing has dominated this style of racing. Right now, Juan Rodriguez being pushed by the 62 of Wilmington. Does he get shoved out of the way? Final lap in stage 1. Rodriguez on the inside now will shift up high. Wilmington being pushed from behind by the 5 of Cole Sampson. Sampson pushing that 62 car. He's on the preferred line on the inside. Coming around turns 3 and 4. 10 bonus points at the start of this race for the pole and a lap led, making an additional 11 points for Brennan Wilmington. He will win stage number 1. Now Cole Sampson will assume the race lead. Bradley Ream right behind him in tow. Everybody back in here trying to get out. Now Carson Miller with an issue in the 8 car. Miller down the pit lane. I'm not sure if this was strategy there for Miller. He's not going to be able to make it to the end. Maybe he's trying to flip the stage. That was a flat tire for Miller, so he will go a lap down. That is another tough break for one of the most consistent drivers, one of the more consistent rookies that we have had here on the season so far. Campbell Marsh right now in the 31, falling back just a little bit. But this battle for the Rookie of the Year points lead is going to be wide open for Marsh if he's able to keep that 31 car underneath of him. Alexander Rowe will get a lap led, and now the field will catch up in 13 of Igor Barreto. Logan Williams' car has gone to the garage area. It's being labeled as an accident, and I'm not sure if Barreto and Williams may have gotten together right on the start. We'll see what the official cause of death of that 17 car was. 3 wide for the race lead. Zachary Fitzwater down on the low side, putting that 14 car in the middle for a brief moment. Thompson back up to the top side. Fitzwater down beneath the 13 machine going into turn 1. Barreto will hold up the outside lane here. And an inside lane bursting free with the pressure alleviated on the inside. That's going to shuffle these guys up a little bit on the inside. But Fitzwater, the Pied Piper of Greenville-Spartanburg right now. Rogel Dorn in tow, and John Andrews right behind him. He's got a super speedway win under his belt already this season. Bruno Diacomo in this battle as well. Started this race in 6th. Otter Island Motorsports won the Daytona 500 with Dylan Matthews. He'll go down to the inside. A couple of rookies running for the top spot. Rogel Dorn, 1 win this season, came on the short track of Vancouver. He's at the front. Now we'll shift up high. Diacomo back down to the low side in the 79 car, down the back straightaway. Coming around to 30 laps to go as we approach the midway point through this race. Eric Monaco has fallen back in the 4. Carson Miller is 1 lap down. And a couple more chase drivers marred towards the tail end of the field. Angel Gutierrez and Corey Case. And now 3, make that 4 of the chase drivers in this top end of the pack. Right towards the tail end here. I think that's where they want to be with about 10 laps to go in this stage. Able to get some solid stage points. Want to be able to cycle back, get in here in about 10 laps time. Where do we see anybody come down and flip the stage? But this is where these guys starting to get aggressive towards the front end of the field. Riley Sampson with a little bit of a push from Alex Lozano to the front end of the field. Sampson's first career win in the Mission Barbecue Cup Series came here at the Big GS. all the way back in 2022. Back 2021, so Logan Alexander won this race back in 2022, my apologies. Alex Lozano, he's got a super speedway win this season as well, won at Dega. He'll go to the point, he'll get some bonus points for his trouble at the front. A nice green flag run here for our opening caution, the first couple of laps of the contest. But when will these guys come down the pit lane, and when do they catch Eric Monaco? Those are the two most important questions on everybody's mind right now. How are these chase drivers going to recover? And again, a very tough break for Carson Miller. In that 8 machine, currently running 1 lap down in 39th at the moment. This pack back in here trying to catch up to the leaders, but this is the mega pack right now that's at the forefront of this field. Alexander in command. Won this race in 2022. Now nearly an aggressive block down low. Got a little bit loose coming out of 3. To play it safe, Bradley Ream will come around, and Ream will get 5 bonus points. And the more bonus points and laps led by these chase drivers, the more it's going to affect these guys that are marred in the back end of the field. But Ream saw Matthew Hubert midway through this run. There he is. About the 7th car on the outside lane in that 23 Zevia green and white machine. I believe he may have gotten a lap led in the 23. Maybe he did not have a lap led just yet. As Eric Monaco swallowed up by this lead pack here past the midway point in the slap on location 500. And how about this? The two Fallout Racing drivers dogfighting for the race lead. Juan Rodriguez is going to let the boss man of Alexander Rowe go by, and Rowe going to the top spot in that Lint Ford. Skylar Taylor down on the low side, and tire wear starting to come into play. These guys are going to get more and more aggressive on these blocks, and we could very well see our second caution of the afternoon. Right in the middle, Caleb Rose trying to get out of Dodge there in the 32 and simultaneously trying to make his way up to the top end of this pack, trying to force his way back down to the inside. Caught in the pickle. Now he'll move back to the top and he will go to the end of the line. And Braden Perez may have peaked a little bit too early. I'm liking where Riley Sampson is right now. He and Cole Sampson, the two brothers, nose to tail, and the second I say that, Cole will shift up to the top side. 3 to go in stage 2. Who wants this stage win more? Wilmington has already got a stage win here this afternoon. He's got 21 bonus points. The pole, a couple of laps led. Michael Marsh has led 2 laps and now in the outside wall. Brennan Wilmington is in it. Dano Georgia nearly upside down. Yellow flag will fly on the speedway. Meanwhile, the second pack will pile in. Caution flag number 2 flying, and Bradley Ream is around on the front straightaway. Ryan Durrani. Toby Murphy is in it. And our second caution of the afternoon coming, I believe, as everybody was trying to get down the pit lane. And Brennan Wilmington is thanking his lucky stars that he was able to get some bonus points, but he was caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. And a massive, massive caution on lap number 28. Puts us under the yellow flag once again, and now we're going to see some more drivers staying out here. Actually, I don't know. A couple drivers may have came down. I don't know why Marsh, Andrews, and everybody is staying out here. But this will end stage number 2 under the caution flag. And just absolute anarchy, and I think that might be what these guys staying out here are looking for. Because remember, Marsh in the 7 stayed out. Actually, I'm looking at the pylon right here. I don't know if these guys maybe came down. No, Marsh and Andrews are on the lead lap. Now problems for Keegan Thompson. He is stalled on the back straightaway. Toby Murphy was in it. The 21 of Roberto Crown Jr. Bradley Ream with heavy damage. It's not going to be 2 wins in a row for Thomas Troxel. So everybody will make what should be their only pit stop of the afternoon. Michael Lewis won the race off of the pit lane. And a big, big accident here. I don't know what the 31 of Campo Marsh is thinking. He is going to get the stage win here. But we saw this from Daniel Bouchard back in 2022, I want to say, where he stayed out. And then he ran out of fuel right at the start, so we might have to watch out for that as the lap down cars will come down the pit lane. But the big one happening in turns 1 and 2, in turns 3 and 4, excuse me, taking out a lot of good race cars. Brenna Wilmington will finish in 38th. Trying to see if Bradley Ream is back out on the racetrack, and he is. So Bradley Ream looking for a good recovery there. Keegan Thompson has stalled on the back straightaway. And Campo Marsh at the moment is the race leader, but he stayed out onto that first caution. He stayed out here once again. See what he'll do on the restart if he runs out of gas, but take a look and see what happened to put us under our second caution flag of the afternoon here at Greenville-Spartanburg, the big one in turns 3 and 4. So this all started with Dano Georgi trying to come down the pit lane. He was going about 190 miles an hour. When he tried to come down, clipped the apron, shot back up into Keegan Thompson, and into the outside wall hard. Quite a few drivers. Georgi nearly going headfirst into the catch fence. You see Brandon Wilmington, Cole Sampson, Roberto Crown Jr. involved, as pretty much the entire top side is blocked. But by the looks of it there, as Logan Alexander and Charlie Davenport are going to get a little bit of a piece, as Davenport is going to turn the 58 car into the inside wall. Should be able to drive away, but a lot of heavy hits for some of these front runners in the field. And you see the tail end piling in here as well. Matt Wolf is going to get into it. I believe he's going to hit the 62 broadside. Yeah, he does. Same thing with Reggie Fogelman. Totals his 3 machine. But then you go back up in here. Dano Georgi once again trying to come down the pit lane. And focus on Thomas Troxel here in the 00. I don't know if he lost brakes or was doing his best Austin Hill terrorist impression, but he is just not going to stop. He ARCA brakes right into the back of the 2 car, who chain reacts into the 20 of Toby Murphy. Elijah Gordon with nowhere to go in the 47. And just a tough situation as Bradley Ream gets turned by Gordon. I believe the 71 of Mitchell Collins just barely got to the inside, and he did. Troxel setting off that second crash, and Ryan Durrani, your Indianapolis winner, will hit the 20 of Murphy broadside. Not what you want there. And just a very tough situation for a lot of these guys, but the driver that was the most affected in that crash had to have been Brendan Wilmington. Your stage 1 winner was looking to get some more stage points. And again, like we said, trying to end an 0 for 109 race winless streak. That will not happen today. Same thing for the 5 of Cole Sampson, who is coming in with an 0 for 143 race winless streak. A lot of drivers with issues after a big crash here. Lap number 28, excuse me. We'll get another couple looks at it. And one final view, focusing with both of your chase drivers involved. Nowhere to go for Brendan Wilmington. Getting totaled in the 62. And back up with the 2 machine of Bradley Ream. Getting just packed in the rear end by the 00 of Thomas Troxel. Getting spun around, but he was able to continue on in the race. But how much damage is on that 2 machine? Well, you can pretty much see it there. A lot of rear end damage on that shell. Benzoil number 2. Couple of drivers stayed out. Campbell Marsh did not come down the pit lane once again. Same thing with John Andrews. Marsh will win stage number 2, but what's going to cost him is going to be the big question. He's going to have to come down the pit lane here, because both he and Andrews and Zachary Fitzwater, who also stayed out, are 3 drivers that have not yet made a pit stop, and we're past the point in the fuel run. So have to see if these guys run out of fuel right on the restart. We'll see what they'll do here in just a couple of moments. Cleaning up caution number 2 of the afternoon. And we're back here at the Greenville-Spartanburg Speedway, cleaning up a massive, massive crash here on lap number 29. Campbell Marsh did in fact end up coming down the pit lane to gas up. So he did indeed have some common sense, so I believe he just was trying to get the stage 1 win. John Andrews and Zachary Fitzwater did not come down the pit lane. Michael Lewis is in 3rd, Alexander Rowe 4th. Caleb Rose rounds out the top 5. Here we go back through the race's restart zone. Getting ready to kick off the tail end of this race here. John Andrews is a control car. Green flag back out in the air. Andrews will get a couple of laps led, but both he and Fitzwater need to come down the pit area. The drivers marred a lap down on the inside lane. One of them being Carson Miller, trying to get his lap back, and already a train starting to form on the inside. Marsh being held up by Bradley Ream right at the tail end here. How long until Andrews and Fitzwater come down? Andrews might be coming down this time. No, he's going to stay out an extra lap. Meanwhile, majority of this field only taking 2 tires during these pit stops. Not sure if anybody took 4 tires. Fastest lap of the race belonging to Toby Murphy, who is one of the several cars that is out of this contest. Fitzwater going for the race lead, and his teammate right behind him, and Michael Lewis. Now Fitzwater trying to get down. Meanwhile, in the back, up the racetrack, going the 4 machine. Caleb Rose is involved as well. Caution flag back out here. I thought I saw the 23 going sideways. And another massive checkup puts us under the caution flag once again. And Caleb Rose will once again finish in the bottom 20 of the field. And Braden Perez hoping that he is not going to be another mark on the team killer that this race has become for Pacific Racing, as Caleb Rose's competitive day will come to a close. John Andrews will come down the pit lane in the 7. See if anybody else will join him, as Andrews will essentially lock up the laps led bonus with 8. Igor Barreto will likely get his lap back here in the 13, I believe. Braden Perez scored as the race leader. Mamma mia. It's not what you want. And unfortunately, a couple of cars going sideways on the tail end of this pack put us under our 3rd caution of the day. Eric Monaco grenaded after what has just turned into a horrible back end of the season for Monaco, who was leading the regular season points at one point. John Andrews is out of the pit lane and out of harm's way. Carson Miller, I believe, might get his lap back here. He indeed will get his lap back, so I believe Miller was the lucky dog. Zachary Fitzwater will rejoin the tail end of the field, and that's really good for Miller. He's going to be in a good shot this final 15 laps of this race. Braden Perez in the race lead right now. Take a look and see what happened to put us under our 3rd caution at the Greenville-Spartanburg Speedway. In what has turned into an aggressive and carnageful slap-on location 500. So we were not mistaken by seeing the 23 of Matthew Hubert involved in this accident. He went up the racetrack as Eric Monaco came down. The two caught the banking on the inside, and back up the racetrack goes Eric Monaco, and for the second consecutive caution, nowhere to go for a Pacific Racing driver, although I believe Braden Perez may be able to continue in the 32 machine. Those two going sideways, and I think that didn't even have to really do with that jam up from Zachary Fitzwater trying to pit in between turns 3 and 4. Only a 2-car accident. Campbell Marsh just able to get by, and I believe Bradley Ream just barely got around both his teammate and his chase for the championship competitor. That'll be another couple of positions there in favor of Ream. 2 more cars going around, 1 more chaser involved in an incident. We'll get another look at it. And another look at this accident. Caleb Rose, wrong place, wrong time. The Pacific Racing Group, no matter how skilled they are in the super speedways, they've just not been able to figure it out since Braden Perez won for the team in Daytona 1 year ago. But nonetheless, Carson Miller got his lap back, and Braden Perez will assume the race lead here as the field will come back to get the green flag with 13 laps to go. This lap on location, 500. We're back at the Greenville-Spartanburg Speedway. It'll be 12 laps to go when the field that has been cut down quite a bit will go back through the Reese's restart zone. Caleb Rose did, in fact, end up pulling that 32 machine behind the wall. He joined Eric Monaco, Ryan Durrani, Cole Sampson, Keegan Thompson, Toby Murphy, Dano Georgi, Roberto Crown Jr., Matt Wolf, Brennan Wilmington, Reggie Fogelman, Logan Williams, and Esteban Lacer in the garage area. 29 cars remain on track. 28 are on the lead lap. Braden Perez has no teammates left. The lone Pacific Racing entry will restart this race in the lead. 12 more laps around the Greenville-Spartanburg Speedway. We have another caution in store. We'll find out. Green flag back out and away. Nobody with a particularly great jump. Here's the first move for the inside from the 84. Inside going the 84 of Alexander Rowe, and 3 cars only on that top lane. Now everybody else will file up top, and here we are. Who's going to make some decisions here on whether you're going to go to the top or going to go to the bottom? The bottom is the dominant line and going the wrong direction. It's going to be Riley Sampson and Braden Perez. Alexander Rowe looking for that second win of the season. It's going to get shoved up the inside to the outside there with the 07 of Bouchard. Owen Miles lurking in the shadows as well. Same thing with the 96 with about 10 laps to go. I'm liking, I don't know who I'm liking right now. I'm liking where Campbell Marsh is sitting right here in that 31 machine with 10 laps to go. 3 wide off of the corner is Barreto, nearly caught in the middle there. Me, I'm liking where that 31 car is sitting if this race goes caution-free. But now, with under 11 to go, with 10 to go here, I don't think this race is going to go caution-free. This is going to be a 28-car dogfight for this race win. A couple of lap-down cars in the back. An aggressive block from the 79 of Diacomo, and Owen Miles showing the way in the 05. Under 10 laps to go for Owen Miles, the Rochester, New York native. Another driver on the grid trying to break a triple-digit race winless streak. 1 win to his credit came in Indianapolis back in 2021. 116 races later, the owner of Dracoan Racing just trying to snap that drought. Bruno Diacomo has never won a race in the Cup Series. The rookie with the Vision Motorsports cars lined up right behind him Rounding out the top three, Rogel Dorn looking for win number 2. 8 to go at the line, and Dorn knows that inside lane is going to be the preferred line. He's down to the inside. Miles throwing the block right now. Miles trying to play defense with a pack of V8 machines lurking in the shadows right behind them. I want to shout out a good recovery from Carson Miller as the Otter Island Motorsports cars nearly got together in 3 and 4. Miller with a good recovery in this race, been able to salvage a top 25 finish. Right now, looking good in that 23 machine is Matthew Hubert. Same thing with the 31 of Campbell Marsh. Although Hubert would take about a 100-point lead going into Kansas the way things run right now with 7 laps to go. But things can definitely change in a hurry. Here we are 3 wide. Elijah Gordon caught in the middle in the 47. Trying to get out of harm's way. He's making contact with Riley Sampson. What an incredible save out of a couple of veterans here on the Mission Barbecue Cup Series. And Sampson trying to keep his championship hopes alive in the 24 car. He's able to win this championship. We're going to go back to that moment right there off of turn 4 where things got started. He's looking good on that inside lane here, coming around to 5 laps to go. Remember, the point of no return is 2 to go. Already seeing some drivers making some aggressive moves. 2 wide is not going to cut it. These guys are going to go 3 wide, and Dylan Matthews won the Daytona 500 all the way back in February. Missed out on the chase. It's Thomas Troxel on the chopping block to be put a lap down. I don't know if these guys are going to catch up to everybody else, but Troxel in the way. He's going to plug up that inside lane. And around go Diacomo and Dorn. 4 laps to go and a couple of rookies at the front end of the field. They're going to try and tandem draft their way to the front. Rather, that was the 75 of Dylan Matthews, not Diacomo. And now the 2 are side by side. Dorn down to the inside. Is it really going to take until now for somebody other than Bradley Ream to finally get their 2nd win of the season? Dorn, who leads the Mission Barbecue Cup Series in stage wins, trying to finally get that 2nd win of his career. The pack, how rapidly do they catch up to this tandem duo? 3 laps to go at the line. All the way in the back, everybody remaining straight. This is helping out Carson Miller a ton, as caught up in that mess was the 23 of Matthew Hubert. He will go to the Boondocks. Now the point lead will swap back into the possession of the 31 of Marsh. Top 2 drivers tandem drafting here, coming off of turns 3 and 4. Sticks high in the air, 2 laps to go. And this is it. Next flag will end the race. Last time by, Juan Rodriguez was half a second back. Here's Riley Sampson with a massive run on the back end of these guys. That second pack is closing in fast. Riley Sampson the leader, but right now it's the tandem of Rogel Dorn and Dylan Matthews leading this race with a lap and a half to go. Matthews looks to the high side, will stick back down low, and that is going to break the momentum. Here comes Riley Sampson. He is going to have a big run coming off turn 4. White flag in the air one more time around the Greenville-Spartanburg Speedway. Here comes Sampson. He's to the inside of Matthews through 1 and 2. He might have a little bit of a ledge to the inside of the 27. Dorn tries to block. It's not going to be enough. Riley Sampson gunning for the race lead. Won the race for GT Le Mans in Thornton a couple of days ago. He's looking for his 2nd win this week. He is out front. They're side by side coming through turns 3 and 4. Corey Case now, what can he do as the field is off of turns 3 and 4, coming to the checkered flag? It was the site of his first career win. Today, Riley Sampson gets win number 2 of the season. He wins at Greenville-Spartanburg. Going from 3rd to 1st, 2 seconds back of the race lead to a 1-lap led performance. Sampson led only 1 lap, but it was the one that counted. Corey Case doing a good job at pushing that 24 car to the finish. He will get some much needed points after that race. And we knew it. We said after that win at Hillside that Riley Sampson has come alive in that 24 machine. He's going to Gatorade victory lane. Corey Case finishes in second. Rogel Dorn will end up in fourth. Braden Perez with a top 5 finish. Angel Gutierrez with a top 10. How about that? Campbell Marsh finishes 11th of the chase drivers. Going all the way down, trying to see where that 23 car finished. Matthew Hubert finished in 25th. To see the rest of your results on the top end of your screen as you take a look at the official standings. Riley Sampson, the first chase driver to win a race in the chase. Case was second, like we said. Taking a look at some other chase drivers. Campbell Marsh finishing in 11th. Miller 23rd, so a good top 25 effort for Carson and Miller after an early flat tire. Able to salvage a lot. Matthew Hubert 25th. Bradley Ream salvages 27th. Caleb Rose 30th. You got Brennan Wilmington 39th. Esteban Lacer finishes in 42nd. And goodness gracious is all I've got to say after that race here at the Greenville-Spartanburg Speedway as you just continue to take a look at the standings on your screen. There's Bradley Ream, like we said, finished in 27th, and Thomas Troxel splitting these guys up. That is what allowed Riley Sampson to get that massive, massive run on the top 2 guys, because, you know, this isn't Talladega, this isn't the COT where you can get those just massive runs on guys. Or no, this isn't the COT where you can just tandem draft and everybody else is in pairs behind you. You got a hulking pack like that everybody was mostly running single file in 2 direct lines. They're going to catch up to you. You can't tandem draft in these Gen 4 cars. And Riley Sampson with a last lap pass leads only 1 lap. Like we said, it was the one that counted the most. And at the site of his first win that was done in dramatic style, he wins an equally dramatic slap on location 500 here at the Greenville-Spartanburg Speedway. And I believe that he might have enough points to potentially have a shot at getting this chase lead going into Kansas next week, because he was sitting 168 points back of Marsh and Hubert. Hubert right now, I believe that it'll be Campbell Marsh who has got the chase for the championship lead. And Sampson may end up being in second, or no, I believe he might be. He was 168 points back of Hubert coming into this, so I believe Sampson will be up to third. Corey Case might move up a ton as well. Again, it's what we get. It's why we've got a 10-race chase. We have none of this round BS like we see in the NASCAR Cup Series. We have got good racing, and we had a fantastic race on hand here for 500 miles done in just under 40 minutes here at Greenville-Spartanburg. How about that? And how about that for Australia's Riley Sampson gets his second win of the season, becomes the second driver to get multiple wins here in 2025. Bradley Ream was the first. It only took until race number 28 of the season for us to get our second multi-time winner. That's the parody you see here in our 2003 offline. That's going to do it here from Greenville-Spartanburg. Congratulations once again to Riley Sampson for winning the Slap on Location 500. Next week, we'll be back in the American Midwest for NBCS coverage. Chase race number 3 from the Kansas Speedway coming at you next Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern for the Flow Racing Patriot 400. Exclusively on your home for your home for the Mission Barbecue Cup Series, the North American Sim Racing Network. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, ladies and gentlemen. Here are your chase standings and point standings after race 28 of the 2025 NBCS season. And from Greenville, South Carolina, on behalf of the North American Sim Racing Network, my name is Trey Wright. Have a great evening, folks. We'll see you next week with Toto in Kansas.